All right, folks, we're about ready to go. Please take your seats. Give me a little massage. Yeah, while you talk. Captain. Hi, folks. Good morning. Thanks for coming out on this special day here for the next 20 minutes, the Eastern Baseball Stadium. My name's Wayne Norman. I've been at WILI Radio in Willimantic for 55 years, and thank you. And a couple of years after I started, we got the idea that broadcasting Eastern Connecticut State College baseball games in the postseason would be a good idea. Well, it was, and here's a good example of it right here. I've probably broadcast over 200 postseason games. That would be NAIA, that would be NCAA Division III, and so it goes. And I developed a close friendship early on with Coach Holowaty, his wife, Jan, and later on, the kids. To put things in perspective for what we're doing here today, the 4 years before Bill Holowaty came to Eastern Connecticut, the teams combined for a total of 19 wins in 4 years and 35 losses. His first year, 1969, they went 11-5. In 1970, 18-4. In 1971, my first year really following Eastern baseball, they were 19-5. 1972, they were one win away from the NAIA World Series, and they went 23-3. And then came 1973. They went 31-8. They finished number 2 in the nation. This is 5 years removed from a program that had gone 19-35. He turned this thing around like that. How did he do it? Well, he did it with some good coaching, good coaches, good recruiting, including a guy named John Canera, who went on to pitch a couple of years in the major leagues with the Angels and later on Milwaukee. And then 2 years after that, they finished third in the nation in the NAIA. The following year, NCAA began Division III, and you know the story of that. Eastern had heartbreak in 81, followed by the first national championship in 1982, and so it goes. The success of this program is what generated this field. And the great Bob Multa, the sports information director at Eastern Connecticut State University, put out these, he deserves that. He would put out these annual yearbooks, and I happened to stumble across this. This is the 1998 yearbook, Eastern Connecticut State University Baseball, opening the gate in 98, 50th year of Eastern. It says, new park, 50th anniversary season, usher in new era. Later on, if people want to take a look at this, you're welcome. But you know the rest. This man is a legend, winningest coach in college baseball and college history, actually. So to get things going, and by the way, you'll notice out there on the scoreboard, who's the batter today? Number 22. That's Bill Holowaty. So before we begin our program today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please rise, remove your Eastern caps for the singing of our national anthem. I invite Dr. David Yo to the podium, Eastern Connecticut State University Professor Emeritus, to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Dr. Yo. We may not be sitting or standing in this field today without the efforts of Dr. David Carter, the president of Eastern Connecticut State University. He recognized the importance of the success. Yes, he's worth a round of applause. He recognized the importance of the success of Eastern Connecticut State University baseball and also, at that time, the 2 national championships. And he lobbied and went to the state legislature and worked them hard. And he got this. The concept was that he wanted an academic center at the campus off Eastern Road. Alumni Field was where the library is now. Softball was there. Soccer was in that neighborhood as well. He wanted it all moved out here, and you can see the results. And that was all because of the work of Dr. David Carter. And a man who proudly follows in his footsteps is the 7th president of Eastern Connecticut State University, Dr. Karim Ismaili.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're feeling good about today. I just want to say, Wayne, we're celebrating an incredible legend. You are also a legend. I want to thank you for being here. I want to recognize Representative Susan Johnson is here. Thank you, Representative Johnson. And I'm going to do something unorthodox here, okay? So for those of you that don't know me, I love baseball, but I'm at heart, I'm a Brit, okay, and I'm a big soccer fan, okay? So, now why is that relevant today? Because here's what I want us to do, all right? If you've been to an English soccer game or any soccer game around the world, one thing that you're always drawn to are the chants. So what we're going to do right now is chant, all right? Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay, here's the chant. It'll be simple. Ready? Holowaty. 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 Thank you very much. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Wayne, for that welcome, and thank you all for being here as we mark this incredibly special moment in Eastern's history. Today, we officially dedicate Holowaty Family Field, the new home of Eastern baseball. This is a tribute to a coach whose impact on this program is defined not only by remarkable records, but by the generations of student athletes who came through it. Coach Bill Holowaty served Eastern Connecticut State University for 45 years, from 1969 to 2013. In that time, he became one of the most successful coaches in NCAA Division III history, leading Eastern to 4 national championships, 12 World College Series appearances, and a career win percentage over 72%. He remains the winningest coach in any sport in New England intercollegiate athletics history. That's incredible. Coach's teams delivered 30 or more wins in 28 of his last 40 seasons, and they dominated conference play, earning 11 Little East regular season titles and 7 tournament championships. Just as notably, he helped elevate Division III baseball nationally, serving as president of the American Baseball Coaches Association, shaping postseason competition and co-founding the New England Intercollegiate Baseball Association. To the alumni who made this day possible, including those who donated to the Holowaty Baseball Facility Fund, your support and loyalty are what brought this vision to life. Thank you. And to the many baseball alumni who've traveled near and far to be here today, thank you. Your presence means so much to all of us and is a testament to the enduring bonds that Eastern baseball has created across generations, thanks in large part to Coach Holowaty. To the Holowaty family, we are grateful for your presence and honored to celebrate this legacy with you. Thank you, Coach and Mrs. Holowaty, and to all the family, one of whom, Jason, has traveled here from England. Your support and pride in this program speak volumes to what it has meant, not only to Eastern, but to your family as well. If you are joining us via live stream, welcome. We are glad you're with us for this special occasion. Ultimately, this ceremony is about what this field will mean to future generations of student athletes. Holowaty Family Field will stand as a place where young players continue to learn, to grow, and to represent Eastern with the same spirit that has defined this program for more than 50 years. Thank you, and congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, Dr. Ismaili. Coach Holowaty set the bar high, and after he left, Eastern won another national championship, 2022. The man who has been coaching Eastern since that time has just finished his third year, Coach Mike Odenwaller, looking to get that bar back up to another national championship. So we welcome Coach Mike Odenwaller, the current ECSU baseball coach.
Thanks, Wayno. All right. Morning, everybody. As I sat to write these brief remarks, I wanted to start with some words that our alumni have often used to describe the Eastern baseball program. Well, the appropriate ones, anyway. First is toughness. The Oxford Dictionary describes toughness as the state of being strong enough to withstand adverse conditions or rough handling. Tough and gritty players with a bulldog mentality have always been a major key to the success of this program. Next is passion. Coaches, players, and teams here at Eastern always had and always will have high expectations driven by an undying will to win every single day. That passion, self-belief, and confidence has turned out dozens of All-Americans, professional players, successful businessmen and entrepreneurs, impactful teachers and leaders, and first-rate fathers. And finally, family. The continuity and togetherness of the Eastern baseball family across generations is palpable. You can see that here today. The tight-knit culture has led so many fathers, sons, brothers, cousins, and friends all to make their way through the program over the last 60 years. This is in credit not just to the foundation that Coach built here, but the walls, the press box, the roof, the fence, the lights, the stands, and the field that 22 quite literally built from the ground up over his 45 years at Eastern. Without Coach Holowaty and without the Eastern baseball family, this place would be a fraction of what it is today. As I look forward to my own tenure at the helm here, filling the shoes of head coach of the Eastern baseball program is a tall task, to say the least. But that task is immensely easier because of the rich history, tradition, culture that is baked into the walls of this stadium, thanks to Coach and the people he helped mold throughout his tremendous career. Thank you to Karim, your administration, the CSCU system, the Board of Regents, Michelle, Lori, Phil, Joe, and the team at Advancement for getting this thing off the ground and ultimately allowing it to come to fruition. Thanks to Candace, Ryan, Chartwells, and everyone else who facilitated the logistics of today. And thank you to everybody in front of and behind the scenes. Sully, Smitty, Bullet, Dino, and all of our alumni and friends who donated and helped make and spread the word about today. I cannot thank you enough. I'm grateful that the money we've raised throughout this campaign will be directly injected back into the Eastern baseball program, and I speak for our current players, many of whom are here today, when I tell you how much of a positive impact it'll make on their experience here at Eastern. And finally, Coach, Jan, and the Holowaty family, as a new father to a young family that'll be growing up in Columbia, my wife Gina and I thank you. The Holowaty family have laid a blueprint for how to lead a successful life on the diamond, but also for how to stick together as a unit and excel through the challenges that come along with raising a family in this difficult yet rewarding profession. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. One thing that has made his program successful, Coach Holowaty recognized local talent. I think I touched on how many great Wyndham High athletes have come through the ranks of Eastern Connecticut State University. One was Eastern's first All-American, Lenny Reed, who's here today. Love you, Lenny. Lenny, longtime assistant coach here at Eastern as well. And another was Eastern class of 1981, Tommy Roth.
Thanks, Wayne. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see so many familiar faces out there in the audience, and it's such a tremendous turnout. It's really appreciated by all the former players, and I'm sure Coach does as well. I wanted to take a moment to talk about someone that had a major impact on my life. Coach Holowaty. I first met, excuse me, got to snap out of this here, Coach. Bulldog. I met Coach about when I was 14 years old. I attended one of the practices over at Alumni Field, and he came up to me and said hello, and asked me how I was doing, asked me a few questions, and we talked a little bit. And then, typical Coach, he said, make sure you attend my my baseball camp. Always selling, but always promoting the game of baseball. That was a long time ago, but as a local kid, it was always great to come and watch Eastern play. As things go on, people ask me, what's it like playing for Coach, or what was it like playing at Eastern? And I would tell them, if you're not a competitor and you don't know what it's like to compete, don't bother coming. Yes, winning games was important to Coach, but it was about pushing us every single day to be better than we were the day before. Coach's competitiveness was not loud or flashy. It was steady, relentless, and absolutely contagious. Coach approached every practice with intensity, every drill with purpose, and every game like we were playing the University of New Haven and Porky Vieira. Coach hated losing to them. And we all had that, he had that line that we all remember, are you a puppy dog or are you a bulldog? That was Coach in a nutshell. Puppy dogs were soft. Bulldogs were locked in, gritty, tough, ready to compete. He did not ask us that question once. He didn't ask it twice. It was all the time until it became part of what we did every day. It was a mindset. The one thing that always stood out was how he hated to lose more than he liked winning. He challenged us to learn, grow, and come back tougher. The fire to compete, to never settle, it shaped us into better players, but even better men. Here's the thing. As competitive Coach was, he never lost a sight of what mattered most, and that was family. And you didn't have to look far to see it. His wife, Jan, was at just about every game. And let's be honest, she really ran the team most of the time. Whether it was managing the bus driver, keeping Coach out of trouble or making sure we were all fed, Jan was our MVP. Thank you, Jan. Their kids, Jason, Jen, and Jared. Those who don't know Jason, he's here. His name was Buck. He grew up. He was about this high when we first met him. But they were as much of the family. They grew up as part of the team, always around, always cheering us on. The whole family made us feel like part of theirs, and that meant more than they'll ever know. The naming of the field, the Holowaty Family Field, is spot on. And here's the funny part. Coach's competitiveness did not stop when our college days ended, especially when it came to trying to play a round of golf with him. A round of golf with him was not just casual. It was a battle. Every putt was do or die, no mulligans, no gimmies, putt everything out. He turned a friendly game of golf into the U.S. Open, and honestly, that was the best part. Coach's competitiveness was not just about winning, it was about heart. It was about setting standards, it was about family, and yes, it was about being a bulldog. So thank you, Coach, for the lessons, the passion, laughs, the friendship, and the love. You did not just coach a team, you built a family, and we will carry that with us forever. Thank you.
Tommy Roth is one good example of a coach's dream, a quality kid. And every coach would say they try to recruit them, and not every kid is a quality kid. But there's been a lot of them that have come through this program, and one of them is Greg Sullivan, a 2006 graduate, 4-year starter for Coach Holowaty, led the Warriors to 3 Division III national tournament appearances, finishing second in 2004. He was also the recipient of the Francis E. Geisler Sports Person of the Year in his senior year, as well as the Rick Gannot Coaches Award, and was named the team captain. He's a quality guy. He's Greg Sullivan.
Wayno, thank you. I just want to start off by saying how humbled and honored I am to be able to stand up here and represent all of you guys. When I was asked to speak, I felt it was really important to try to represent all the different eras of Eastern baseball. So I began to reach out and speak to a tremendous amount of alums, and the overwhelming theme that I was getting from everybody was gratitude. The gratitude they had for their teammates, and the gratitude they had for playing for Coach Holowaty and having an opportunity to get an education from Eastern Connecticut. And as I stand here before you, I'm reminded of my days at Eastern and what made them so special, and it was that, gratitude. I'd like to take this time to thank several people for making today happen. President Elsmeli, thank you for making this a priority in your first year as our president here at Eastern. I am sure you've heard how special this program is, but I hope today you get to feel it. Feel it as you talk to so many of our gracious alums, as they share with you how much Coach Holowaty and this president meant to them. We look forward to your guidance and your leadership for years to come here at Eastern. To Vice Presidents Phil Elmore, Michelle Delaney, and Director of Athletics Lori Ruckelsmeyer, your voice was heard on so many levels. You are our voice each day as you advocated for us to make this day happen. This program will forever be grateful for the 3 of you for paving the way to making this happen. And to Joe McGann in the Institutional Advancement Office, thank you for calling me. Thank you for asking me to help for this project. You will never know the enjoyment I had in connecting with so many of my former players and alums. You have given us a chance to celebrate Eastern baseball as a family once more. None of this would be happening if it weren't for a small group of people who helped this process in so many different ways. Carl Kapczynski, Dennis Kelly, Tommy Roth, Doc Yo, Gary Kazoin, my teammate and fellow captain Zach Merbach, my catch partner and teammate Dwight Wildman, Odie, Dean Cinto, Smitty, and Bullet. These were the men on the front line making all of this happen today. The key to this program has always been the commitment and the support of our current players by the former players and friends of this program. Moving forward, this program needs us to stay engaged and connected. As we leave here today, let's remember that each fall we welcome a new group of Eastern baseball players to our family. And it's our job to make sure that they are supported in ways that we were supported while we were here and fortunate enough to wear this uniform. Jason, Jared, and Jen, thank you for sharing your father with us. We understand that at times it probably wasn't easy, but we are all very grateful for the three of you for allowing us into your home and welcoming us as one of your family. Coach, I don't even know where to start. Thank you will never be enough for everything you did for this university. You taught us character, toughness, and class. It was always we over me. And you taught us loyalty and an unwavering commitment to one another. And yes, you will always be our coach, but more importantly, you'll always be family. And last but not least, we would like to thank you, Mrs. Holowaty. You may not realize it, but you taught all of us that to do anything great in life, you need to have a very understanding and supportive partner. And you are certainly that and more. This program is what it is because of you. But more importantly, we are who we are because of the example you set. So on behalf of all of us, thank you. And in closing, I'd like to congratulate all of us, everyone who is here today and everyone who has ever been involved in this program. This field and its naming is just one more significant accomplishment that we can add to this storied tradition created by the Eastern Connecticut State baseball family. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Greg is, by the way, a longtime assistant coach at Boston College now. I've known Bill and Jan's three kids since they were toddlers. In fact, Jennifer was 2 months old when she sat on my lap for the flight to Kansas City for the NAIA World Series in 1975. This Eastern grad, class of 97, is now an academic advisor for UConn men's soccer, men's track and field, and golf. Ladies and gentlemen, Jennifer Holowaty.
Usually, words come easy to me. Too easy. I'm the queen of rambling, just ask any of my friends. But for some reason, the words didn't come easily for this. Perhaps because it's so big, or maybe because there aren't words for how much this moment means to myself and my family. But what I really think is that there's no way to articulate just how much this man means to me. He's my father, my dad, and I've always been Daddy's little girl. He's always been my hero. He is my #1 cheerleader, my support when I am feeling anything but capable, my dream holder when I forget them. He is my compass leading me towards what is right, and he is at times my mirror, reflecting back a strength I sometimes forget I possess, a stubbornness I always possess, and the ability to persevere in times of both good and bad. He is the man who taught me to love not only my family, but sports and all that they provide. He was my first and best coach. He was and is my reminder of just how much I was and am loved. I love you being one of his most used phrases. He was a hand when I didn't know I needed it, and an ear even when I didn't want to talk. He is proof that dreams do come true, and that sometimes they don't. But he's also proof that perseverance pays off. Do any of you remember the story of the mouse in the grill? And that, even though you might fall short of your goals, that's never a reason to stop trying. He is the definition of intensity, but not just on the field. He is intense in all that he does, competing, loving, living. Many of you know how he is when he's playing, whether it be golf or basketball. How many of you played him in one-on-one, him cheating and chirping the whole time? And let's not forget the time he challenged Motts to a race to see who was faster. I don't need to tell you how that ended. He is all of this and so much more, but some things cannot be articulated with words. They are elusive and bigger than a series of mere letters strung together. As Antoine de Saint-Exupéry said in The Little Prince, the most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or touched, they are felt with the heart. And that, I think, is why I had such a difficult time putting this together. But one of the foundations of my father's success was the support of those around him. And as he will tell anyone who will listen, and I mean anyone, none of this, the field, the national championships, the accolades, would have been possible without the support and help of the people around him. How many of you has he told, surround yourself with good people and good things will happen? It is embodied in the name of this field, and it will be a permanent reminder that it wasn't just Bill Holowaty. It was his family, and not just us Holowatys, but the Eastern baseball family. Each and every one of you played a part. Each and every one of you has left your fingerprint on this program. Each and every one of you has had an impact not only on Eastern baseball, but on our family as well. You are family, and what a family we are. So when I wasn't sure what to write, what to say, I turned to my family. And so now I share their words about what my father meant or means to them. Coach was a father figure to all who went through the Eastern program, a positive compass to young men figuring out their path in life. He not only built a world-class baseball program, he built a community, and its foundation was family values, and we're all better people because of it. To be honest, there were times back then when I hated the yelling. You were hard on us, on me, and I didn't always understand it in the moment. But looking back, I can say with complete clarity, I needed it. You pushed me to be tougher, more disciplined, and more accountable. And in doing so, you helped shape the kind of person I've become today. You didn't just coach baseball, you taught life. You showed us what it meant to do things the right way, even when it wasn't easy. And through your intensity, you showed just how much you cared, not just about winning, but about preparing us for the world beyond the field. Thank you for being the coach I didn't always like, but absolutely needed. I'm proud to have played for you. He taught us that no matter what you do in life, you work as hard as you possibly can at it, and you do it to the very best of your ability. Whether it is chasing a goal in life or chasing a national championship, give it everything you have. Success is not handed to anyone, it is earned. Those who work the hardest have the best chance of achieving their goals. And if you don't reach your goal the first time, you try again. He taught us to be relentless, to never let anyone outwork you, and to never let the SOBs beat you. The wisdom of Coach Holowaty: commitment, prepare for success, be mentally and emotionally present, work through discomfort, that's how you grow. Work for the team's success, your personal success will follow. Respect everyone, especially yourself. Enjoy the moments, they go too fast. Coach Holowaty is a master teacher and coach. While playing for him, you believed in his vision for success and the path to a national championship. It isn't often until years after graduation that you realize the head fake. Coach was teaching us life skills, not baseball. While mastering our skills on the field, Coach also prepared us to be the very best teammate, friend, father, husband, and lifelong learner. These skills and values have shaped the boys who played for Bill Holowaty into the men we are today. Coach, your legacy didn't end with retirement, nor does it end with the naming of that honors you today. Your legacy carries on in every player who had the privilege of sharing the field and classroom with you, and the generations we go on to inspire as you taught. In the words of Bill Holowaty, it is never the wrong time or place to let those closest to you know that you love them. Congratulations, Coach, and the Holowaty family on this well-deserved honor. I love you. I'm not done yet. And finally, I share a moment with perhaps the greatest member of the Holowaty family, Ella. About a year ago, Ella and I were in the car driving to a birthday party. She was asking about Pa and why he lost his memories. After I gave her the best answer I could, that sometimes people's brains just change, affecting their memory, her voice floated up from the back. "What happens if I forget Pa?" she asked me. Luckily, I was wearing sunglasses so she couldn't see the tears that suddenly welled in my eyes as her words ricocheted around my heart. My answer was simple, yet true. I told her, "You won't, because we will tell you stories." And that is what I ask each of you. This field will now be forever not only a testament to my father's legacy, but also to the legacy of Eastern baseball and the family that it is. Each and every one of you carry on the legacy of Eastern baseball, of my father. I imagine everyone sitting before me has at least one story, one memory. And so I ask you this, for Ella, for my father, for our family. Keep telling your stories. Keep sharing the memories you have. Keep the legacy going in what you say, in what you do, and in who you are.
Jen's younger brother, Jared, was a co-captain and starting outfielder for the 2002 national champions. He came a long way from his days as a bat boy for Eastern baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, Jared Holowaty. Right?
Come on, Jen. Tommy and Jen, come. Sully asked me a couple weeks ago if I would like to speak, and I've never spoken at an Eastern event before. And I said, of course, I would love to. I have so many stories, so many. Sitting in Bullett's office with me, Bullet, and Smitty, we talk for hours. And so every night I would try to put something together since I talked to Sully, and I just realized there were too many emotions, too many stories, and I couldn't get my head around anything. And so one night I just decided, I said, you know what? Bring yourself back. Just stand in the middle of your father's office. You walk in, there's the 20-win pitchers club, there's the 100-hit club. To the right, there are trophies. But to the left, from floor to ceiling, there are pictures from every era, every team. Top media guide, Stan Harris, pictures of Paul Martineau, Rick Gannot and my father at Disney. A lot of memories. So I'm going to go back there for a second. So 1967, my father, after leaving University of Connecticut, gets offered two jobs: the head coaching basketball position at a new high school, Parish Hill, or the JV basketball coach at Eastern Connecticut State College. And so my father chose to come to Eastern. And as a side duty, as everybody here who's coached at a college, you always have side duties. And as a side duty, he would also be the head baseball coach. So this was 1967. Obviously, right away, he came in and he thought he could change the world. But to do that is very, very difficult. And what he taught me when I first started coaching is he said, when you're trying to build a program, get a player from a fantastic high school. You're not going to get the best player, but they know how to win. So in the early 70s, he's going after this pitcher from Naugatuck High School. He befriended the coach, my father did, Ray Lagenza, legendary coach. But my father was going after their best player. Unfortunately, they lost that player. He was going to Long Island University. So in the fall of, I might get my dates wrong, 71, let's just say, my father's out golfing at Willamette Country Club. They say it's on the second hole, but the time doesn't add up. Let's just say he's on the golf course. And a kid from the pro shop runs out to his foursome and says, "Coach, your wife is on the phone. You've got to come to the pro shop immediately." So my father runs back to the pro shop not knowing what's going on, and my mom says, John Canera was registering for his first day of school at Long Island University, and his car was broken into. He's going to come to Eastern. You talk about sliding doors and how things happen. All right. And John Canera, the stats that he still has to this day here at Eastern and the dominance that he had, not only at Naugatuck High School, but here at Eastern, will never be matched again. But again, you talk about the sliding doors, but now you're chasing. Now you're chasing John Canera. How do you get the next John Canera? Well, in 82, they went, and again, I'm more of a mid-'80s guy, so I'm going to go light on my early 80s. But in 1982, they won the national championship behind a very, very tough pitcher, Steve Thomas, who was here today. And I do know this for a fact, and I know my father has used the bulldog term for as long as everybody here has known him, but that bulldog term came from my father describing the kind of player that Steve Thomas was. So that team wins the 1982 national championship. Now you're chasing. Now you're chasing. In 1985, I became a part-time bat boy at Eastern. My brother Jason was full-time. And I would like to say that I had a bigger commitment to the team, but the cover of the Willimantic Chronicle back in May of '85 is me flying a kite during an Eastern baseball game in my baseball uniform. So I wasn't fully committed. '87 now, '87, Jason moves on. I'm full-time bat boy. What does that mean? That means pine tar on your hands, chasing foul balls that you never found down by Dairy Queen, down High Street. But the best one, I'm in school. Jared Holowaty to the office, ready to leave, please. Jared Holowaty. You got to leave early from school. And it was the best. It was the best. And now, and luckily for that '87 team, I led them to the World Series in Marietta, Ohio. They were great. Okay, but, we have to drive to Marietta, Ohio. Not the team, the Holowatys, Rick Gano, and one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life, Dr. David Yo. Why do I say that? Because he sat next to me the entire ride to Marietta, and all I could talk about was his watch that has a calendar on the side. He still has it. He still has it. But, and then if Rick Gano was still here, and I could talk about Rick all day long, but Rick would say that was one of the most terrible experiences of his life, driving the station wagon to Marietta. But anyways, but here, I'm getting back to baseball. So in '87, I'm really kind of getting ingrained in Eastern baseball, and so now I'm in Marietta, Ohio. It is 1,000 degrees. I can still see Wayne Norman up there, perch. He's got the headset on, the towels wrapped around. Doc Yo in the dugout, just wetting towels down and putting them around my neck and the player's neck. It's so hot. It's incredible. But I got to be around players like Joe Crimmy, Brian Cassidy, and Jeff Johnson. And those were guys that taught me how to play baseball. They cared. I only had one Eastern paraphernalia in my dorm room when I went to Eastern, and it was a picture of that '87 team that lost in the World Series. And for some reason back then, they took the picture after you either won or lost. So obviously most teams' pictures aren't too great, but that was the best picture because you could see a team that cared. They looked like they had just gotten out of a factory job, and they were so devastated that they lost, and I still have it to this day. Then we move on. 1990. I meet Scott Smith and Dave Mills in the bullpen at Florida Atlantic University. I think they're about 3 or 4 games in down in Florida. And Eastern's having an okay start. Maybe it was 3-1, whatever it may be. And back then, you play whoever, Division I, II, III. And they had a pretty good team, but this kid came to the plate. He was a transfer. And I remember he hit a foul ball, like over the lights, but really yanked it foul. He was a big kid from southeastern Connecticut. Back then, and Mike Susi will know this, all the kids from southeastern Connecticut looked like they built their brims in like a newspaper tube. It was really obnoxious. It was like that. It was like that. And this kid wore it under his helmet, which made it even more difficult. The next at bat, Brian Mercado hits a ball about 16 miles over the left center field fence. I was like, whoa. That 1990 team, Lou Lanny, Mike Crosby behind the plate, Ken Valier, Wyndham native at first base, Paul Matachin at second base, Jeff Handler at shortstop, Pete Daniels, who my father still says is the most underrated player that has ever played at Eastern, P.J. McCabe in left field, Dennis Kelly. Dennis Kelly looked the same in 1990 as he does today. Unbelievable. And then Brian Mercado. And the center fielder, they had this player, Basilio Ortiz, who was the start of the lore of Eastern, or as many people have said it, the evil empire, or however you want to say it. This player was just everything that you would want in a player, and also looked like it and carried himself like it. It was incredible to watch. It was incredible to watch. So I was lucky. I was at my father's hip in 1990. My mom allowed me to go early to the Division III World Series. You get there a day or two before because there's administrator meetings. I'm sitting at this meeting, boring meeting, 2 hours long. Administrator, coaches, all around the table. I'm in the corner. No magazine, no Game Boys. I'm just there. And this is a true story. So the meeting is getting over, and I'm just sitting there like, you know, whatever. And the administrator for the tournament comes up, and he goes, I got to apologize. The field has never been better. C.O. Brown Field. It's never been better. He goes, but some of the trees in the outfield are hanging over the fence. So it'll be at the umpire's discretion if it's a home run or not. And, you know, nobody said anything. My father said, don't worry. We're going to hit him over the trees. And I'm in the corner. If I knew what a slow clap was, I was ready to run through a wall. Eastern goes down 1-2-3 in the first game of that Division III World Series in 1990. Leading off the second inning is Brian Mercado, and Brian Mercado hits a ball 16 miles in the air and 25 miles over the left center field fence. And I was all in. And that was the best team that I've ever seen at Eastern because every one of those guys was such a true competitor and was really, really, really good. So now you got 1990s over, now you're chasing 1990. How are you going to replace this team? They were mostly seniors and juniors, and out comes along a kid named Joe Fanaro. I mean, Joe Fanaro was one of the best shortstops I have seen at any level. And Eastern gets him. He's smooth. He can hit. He hits in the clutch, and he's got an attitude, and he'll let you know it. Southern Maine knows it. He was unbeatable. And he led those teams to a World Series along with Mike Susi. Those teams were good, but just couldn't get over the hump. And so I'm almost done, trust me. So 1997 rolls along. All right, so I am a senior in high school, and my father is pitching. We're not arguing. He's pitching to me in the batting cage behind our house, and he says, hey, I want you to come on a recruiting trip with me, which I had done in the past, but now I'm getting too old for it. I want you to come on a recruiting trip for me. And I said, I don't really want to go, Dad. He goes, I found a player. He said, this player will lead us to a national championship. And he's never said that before, and I don't think he ever said that since. And I was like, okay, where is it? Are we going to Meriden, Southington? He goes, we're going to Brockton, Mass. I said, how far is that? He said about 45 minutes to an hour. 2 hours and change later, we arrive at Brockton High School, and we're sitting in the first base bleachers because you have to get there for infield, outfield. You have to get there for infield, outfield. And so I'm sitting there skeptical. I mean, I've seen a billion good players at Eastern. And so they start infield, outfield, and the coach, I remember this like it was yesterday, the coach hits the ground ball to left field, throws it in center field, the third baseman sends it in. And the shortstop for this team, it was the 90s, so like everybody wore things too big for them, and he wasn't tall. He was like that big. And he wore this gigantic glove on his hand only because he wore it flat, like a pizza tin. And I'm like, what is this kid? So they hit the ball to the shortstop, and I have never, ever, ever seen before or again hands on a player like this. The ball doesn't even hit his mitt, and he throws the ball to first base. I said, whoa. Then he hits the ball to second base for a double play, and it doesn't hit his mitt. Whoa, and he's got something behind the ball. I said, I have never seen a player like this, and I've seen some really good players. But this kid, unbelievable. So we leave, and my father calls up Wayne Norman. He said this a couple weeks later. He said, Wayne, he goes, Brockton's playing in the state championship in Worcester at the old Holy Cross Field. I want you to come. We found a player that's going to help lead us to a national championship. And Wayne's like, okay. And I don't think, Wayne, you've never gone on recruiting trips, have you? Really? Not much? And so we're at the game, sitting on the first base line. It's kind of like a Field of Dreams situation. We're just sitting there. And again, I'm watching this kid play shortstop, and they won the game, but I'm like, he's unbelievable. About 390 days later, he was the starting shortstop for Eastern on the 1998 national championship team, a team which he was a freshman. You had a senior catcher, senior first baseman, senior second baseman, junior All-American third baseman. You had a senior left fielder. You had a senior center fielder. You had a senior right fielder. Who wants to walk into that situation? And Nick thrived. Nick Tempesta was one of the greatest players that I ever saw at Eastern, and still one of my best friends. But again, you see the story here. You're always chasing teams from the past, and I never really understood it until I became a member of the team. You're really playing against the ghosts of the past and trying to excel for the future. And it's really, really difficult. And so I give credit to all of those teams, to all of those players. You have no idea how difficult it was to play here. All the great players that couldn't play here because the competition level was through the roof. All state players, the best players on their teams in their states. It's so, so very difficult because of the expectations and the demands of what needed to be done as an 18-year-old kid going to college. It's very, very difficult. I want to end by thanking people, and I didn't want to name a lot of people because I'll miss people, but two people that were very, very important. Bob Malta, again, please give another hand for Bob Malta. He's a Mike ABA Atkin, who my father met at Hurley Hall back in the early 80s, and Mike was sitting by himself, and my father came up to him and said, "Hey, what's your name?" Blah, blah, blah. Mike. And my father said, "Do you want to be a part of the baseball team?" And he said, "Well, I don't play baseball." He goes, No, but you can be a manager. And my father named the title Administrator of Baseball Affairs for Mike Atkin. And he was there every day, all day, opening gates, turning on lights. He was the oil of the program, who doesn't get discussed that much. And then secondly, Rick Gano, who, when Rick Gano passed years ago, a piece of the Eastern baseball program died with it. And I know my father was really, really hurt by it because Rick was the guy. Rick was the guy who washed the uniforms. He was the Smitty before Smitty, the equipment manager. And he was so, so impactful to the program because it takes, they say it takes, it takes a town, but it takes a family. And I don't want the Holowaty baseball family field just that people think it's about me, Jason, or Jennifer, and my mom. It's about everybody. It's about Mrs. Tempesta. It's about the Susies. It's about the family members who are in my father's office. You see all the parents, the Pauquettes, everybody, the Garrises, everybody that was a part of it. I want them to feel like they are a part, not just of this facility, but of the program. I want to thank everybody. I obviously want to thank my mom, but I don't want to start crying, so I tried to keep it baseball-wise. But, Mom, thank you so much for everything that you did, for making the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in between games, and for letting me be a full-time bat boy for many, many years. And thank you for the administration at Eastern for getting this done. But I've said to many today, what's more important about today is having everybody back here, not about the naming of the field. So thank you so much for everybody that can be here. And for those who can't be here, I know you wish you could, but we love you, and you'll always be a part of our family. Thank you.
Jared, that was great stuff. In fact, I was going to tell the Nick Tempesta story, too. I talked to Nick earlier today that Bill called me, a little different from what Jared said, but Bill called me during the state tournament in Massachusetts. He says, "I've got the shortstop that's going to win us a national championship next year." 1998, right there, freshman shortstop, Nick Tempesta. He mentioned Rick Gano. I wanted to talk about him, the longtime equipment manager and a guy that really bled Eastern blue, went on all the road trips, and he was a real big fan of Eastern, and boy, I had some great times with him. Also, from my catbird seat back here, I was admiring the crowd here, and what I really like, look at the people sitting in the dugouts. How cool is that to share this day to day, and people are sitting in the dugout like, "Put me in, coach, I'm ready to play." Speaking of people that aren't here today, besides Rick, I want to just give a shout out to another guy that bled Eastern blue that would have been here today if he were still around, and that's my longtime good friend Jerry Nuger. Some people call me the voice of Eastern baseball on the radio. Jerry was the voice of Eastern baseball PA at Alumni Field and here. He had a very gruff delivery. He wasn't like any other PA announcer you'd heard, except maybe Sherman Feller at Fenway. But the old-timers with Eastern baseball know what I'm talking about when I say the left fielder, Ray Glia, or Peter Bard. So anyway, he was a big part of this Eastern baseball family, and I think I got to salute him today. I would also like to point out some head baseball coaches that are with us in attendance today. Andy Baylock, longtime UConn head baseball coach, who had a lot to do with Eastern baseball the last couple of years. He's only thrown like 5 billion pitches in batting practice. The current UConn head baseball coach, Jim Penders, done a great job up there. I talked about Wyndham guys. Well, Sean Gil Blair was one of those. He put that 2006 team on his back. He's now the head coach at Mitchell, Eastern class of 2010. Jay Grenier, former head coach and assistant coach at Community College, Rhode Island, and Rhode Island College. Ken Howe is here, former head coach at Keene State College. And Steve Trimper, Eastern, class of 1992, been a longtime head coach at Stetson University in Florida. Now, the following people were unable to attend, but they did send messages of congratulations and support to Coach Holowaty and his family. Bill Decker, the head coach at Harvard and former head coach at Trinity College. Brendan Eigebrot, head coach at UMass Boston. Dennis McManus, former head coach Plymouth State. Eric Podbelski, head coach at Wheaton College. Bob Prince, 1991 national champion at the University of Southern Maine. He's now head coach for a long time at UMass Dartmouth. And the guy that he played for at University of Southern Maine, who really did want to be here today but had a prior commitment, Ed Flaherty, the former head coach at the University of Southern Maine. Ed is a two-time national champion, Division III at Southern Maine, and I believe he was, if not the first, one of the first. When he saw this facility, he christened it the Taj Mahalawati. It's getting a new name in a few minutes. Also, Craig Kylitz, the American Baseball Coaches Association Executive Director, sent this message. Today's dedication of Holowaty Family Field is more than a celebration of championships. It's a tribute to a true legend in college baseball. Coach Holowaty's impact reaches far beyond Eastern Connecticut's community. His career set a standard of excellence, but his most enduring legacy lies in the countless student athletes he mentored and the values he instilled along the way. Coach Holowaty's leadership, passion, and relentless pursuit of greatness helped shape not only a championship program, but the coaching profession as a whole. And his influence continues to be felt across the baseball world through his ongoing service on the ABCA Board of Directors, where his insight and love for the game continue to guide and shape our sport. It is truly an incredible and fitting honor to recognize Coach Holowaty with the naming of Holowaty Family Field. So it's time for the big announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of Student Affairs at Eastern Connecticut State University, Michelle Delaney.
Thank you. I was trying to get a little helper, but she'll help later. So it is now my honor to officially present the naming of this field. And at this time, I would like to read to you the dedication that will appear on the plaque. Holowaty Family Field is named in recognition of Bill Holowaty's coaching career and the long-standing support of the Holowaty family. From 1969 to 2013, Coach Holowaty led the Eastern Connecticut State University's baseball program to national prominence, achieving more than 1,400 wins, 4 NCAA Division III national championships, and 12 College World Series appearances. He remains one of the winningest coaches in Division III baseball history. His career has been recognized with induction into the National College Baseball Hall of Fame, the American Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame, and 4 regional halls of fame. This field stands as a recognition of those achievements and the Holowaty family's enduring association with Eastern baseball. Signed, Karim Ismaili, President of Eastern Connecticut State University. We hereby name this field from this point forward as Holowaty Family Field. All right, now I would like to draw your attention. We're going to have to look around the tent, but out to the outfield fence as we reveal the Holowaty Field sign. And if you can just give us a minute, Coach wants to get up so he can see it too. And now I would like to invite the Holowaty family to accept this naming dedication.
My children have kept you all here probably longer than you've chosen, so I'm not sure if Coach is going to say anything or not. My thing is brief from my heart. 12 years ago, when my partner of 57 plus years, and yes, ball players, you only had him for 4 or even less, 57 plus years, when he retired, I said to him, retire with me, the best is yet to be. And we have had 12 years of wonderful experiences. However, nothing can ever compare to the 45 years that we spent here at Eastern. As the kid said, we raised a family here, we developed a huge family here, and the important message from all of us, and you've heard it before, we'll say it again, the name Holowaty Family Field, the family part, that F word out there, is for all of you, because you have made our lives so much better. And in the words of Coach, when you say I love you, we love you all, really, and thank you for coming. But please do not leave today without talking to this man, because you've made his life much, much better, and we all appreciate it. Thank you. Do you have anything to say, young man? Here we go.
I've had a love affair with Eastern Connecticut State University for a long time, and my wife and my family and my ball players and the friends that we have had have been unbelievable. And it's meant so much to us that every day it was never going to work. It was to go to ball players and to our family. And I'm going to miss that. And the players have been very important to me and us. And winning is nice, but they are more important than anything. And I am happy that our ball players had the right attitude of why a college is here. And your education, and you're here to graduate to be a good person and have a beautiful family has been always important to us. And that has always been said, to our players and to my friends. And I'm proud of that. And Eastern means that as a family. It means you have made Eastern better, because of you. Not me, but you. And I appreciate that very, very much. And that field will always be you. And I look at all the ball players out here, all you out here. I really appreciate that. And it means a lot to me. And when I can come to work and have a smile on my face and see faces that I help and become better, and that's the whole key. And that's what today is about. It's about us, we, family, and I hope you all understand that, but our family is the most important thing. And I see all the faces here, and it's all about us. And you will come in here to the ballpark, and I want you to walk in all a smile on the face, and this is our ballpark. And it means a lot to us, it means a lot to you, and I love it. And my life has been to help, kids be better. And that's what we're about. We're about educators and about have a healthy life. And so thank you for being part of it.
Thank you, Coach. And I can personally say that some of the best moments in my life have been covering your baseball program. And by the way, for the folks who saw Coach up here speaking, that wasn't a cane he was using. That was a golf club. Right? Tee it up. That concludes our program for today. We thank you all for attending. And please join us for lunch and photos as we continue to celebrate this historic moment for Eastern baseball. And welcome to Holowaty Family Field.